So today I just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that I've been using lately that I like, part of the series, things that we like, or stuff that we like. So let's see, let's start with this stuff here. This is a 1.5 Japanese 1.5 size line that I got from DRAGONtail. It is not designed as a Tenkara line. And you can see it's got a great opaque orange color. It's fluorocarbon and it's 1.5, size 1.5, which is a diameter of 0.21 millimeters. I don't remember what that is in inches off the top of my head. I'll post that up above here. So anyway, the reason I really like this is it is a finer diameter, meaning it's lighter, but it's still fluorocarbon. It's nice and opaque. I've been using it for nymphing. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily choose this if I'm gonna go out and do some more traditional Tenkara techniques with slightly more wind resistant flies. But if you like to nymph with your fixed line rods, then I would consider giving this a shot. What's nice about it is because it's lighter, you can really keep it off of the water when you're fishing at a little bit of a distance. It has less sag. It also seems to be, I have no way to quantify this, but it seems to be a little more supple than some other fluorocarbons. But again, that might just be part of the, because of the diameter. But anyway, I've been using this pretty consistently whenever I go out fixed line nymphing, and I really like it. Even though it's a small diameter, it's nice and opaque and high-vis orange. So it is kind of my new favorite line for nymphing. I believe they've also got it in a size 2. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm really digging this size 1.5. So if you're into fixed line nymphing, I would definitely give that a shot. I'm really loving it. So kind of to go along with that, in a video recently by George Daniel related to Euro nymphing, he introduced to me these solid paint markers. I think Scientific Angler is selling them as a specifically fly fishing oriented thing, but you can get the original Sakura markers on Amazon. And they're a solid paint marker. And what folks in the Euro nymphing community use them for are cider. You know, you can mark your line in different colors and different spots and have, make a cider out of any line, a high-vis cider, which is useful in Tenkara fishing too. The way I've been using them is I've got some small diameter clear fluorocarbon line that is pretty impossible to see. Up till now, I've been putting a section of cider material, nylon cider material on the end of it. But now with these paint markers, it's easy enough to just put some alternating colors. I have the fluorescent yellow, fluorescent orange, and black. So you could put some alternating colors right onto the high-vis or the clear line and get some high-vis sections. I like to mark it higher up on the line because often when I'm fishing, I find that because of glare or something on the surface of the water, maybe I can't see the line right as it enters the water. And though not ideal, often I can do visual strike detection further up the line. So this allows you to mark, say, if you're using a clear line further up the line. And you might use a clear line for stealth purposes, or just because you can't get a fluorocarbon high-vis line in the smaller size that you want. Maybe you want a real fine diameter. The other thing I've been doing with them is I've been using the black to put some marks on this high-vis on a high-vis line. And the reason I do that is, say you're fishing and sometimes the tip of the line might enter the water and you're never, without any marks on it, it's kind of hard to tell how deep that got in the water. If you're trying to lift it up and get your line out of the water, so you just have tipped it in the water. So if I put some alternating stripes of black on there, I'm able to to pull it up till I see the black and know that I got my line, most of my line out of the water. Or even with these small diameter ones, you might use it as a depth indicator and actually let some of the line go under the water on purpose. And I also find that having some black marks on here might help see subtle movements if you do get a strike. Since you don't have just a solid orange, you've got some alternating black, you might see the movement a little better. You can basically just take it, take the lid off, put your thumb on it, pull the line through, and make your marks. You could do this at home, say, and ahead of time, and then you can clean off your finger, which I should have thought ahead of time to have a rag available. All right, so that's that stuff. The cool thing about it is a solid paint, so once it goes on, it is fairly difficult to remove. So if like with the cider wax that you might have seen, that's easier to take off. This doesn't come off as easily, so I think to think of it more as a permanent thing. Obviously you can get it off. Like George mentioned, using alcohol pads. I watched a Devin Olson video, and he uses a Magic Clean, a Mr. Clean Magic Clean eraser to get it off. Anyway, I think they're kind of cool, and I'm sure people find a lot of different uses for them. The last thing I wanted to talk about, things I really like, are zoom rods. In certain circles, it might not be cool to like zoom rods, but I find them quite useful and really like them. So a couple that I've been using a lot lately, one of my favorite rods is this Mutant ZX380. I did a rod report of it. I'll put the link for that. And there's, so you can get all the specs in the rod report or in the original post about the rod. So it's a triple zoom rod, 380 being the longest length. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. I'll post that up here rather than stumbling and giving you the wrong information. So I've been using this a lot. This rod has, I feel, a more traditional Japanese Tenkara rod feel to it, with a lot of tactile feedback. So you're gonna, when you cast it, you feel the flex a lot, which I kind of like. I would definitely recommend this rod to anyone. They don't market it as a large fish rod. I haven't caught anything huge on it, probably 14, 15 inch fish at the most. But I don't think I would, if I was going after large fish and I knew I was going to get into some, I might not choose this rod, even though I really love it. Another rod I've been using a lot lately is the Tenkara USA Satoki. So the Satoki is, they do talk about it being used for bigger water, bigger fish. It's also a triple zoom rod. The lengths are 325 centimeters, 370 centimeters, and 415. They've got it marked on here. And in feet and inches, that is 10 feet, 10.8 feet, 12.2 feet, and 13.7 feet. So it's a bigger rod than the Mutant. And it is a more stout rod. You can kind of see it in the size there. Not a huge difference in diameter, but you can see it. And I've been using this rod a lot lately on some of the bigger water I fished. I've been using it. I think it's strung up right now with that size 1.5, which it seems to be with nymphs. It's working great with that. This rod, it's growing on me. It doesn't have, initially, when you start fishing it, it is going to feel stiffer and than a rod like this. Not as much tactile feedback, but I'm still casting that light line with small nymphs. Great. Like, it's still casting really wonderful. It's a different casting experience. You don't feel it as much, but I'm having no problem with the casting, and in fact really like it. Anyway, enough about the rods themselves. The reason I really love zoom rods is a lot of the places that I fish, the limestone streams that I fish, the trout like to hang out close to the bank. The brown trout often will sit within inches of water, tucked up right next to the bank. So even if you're fishing a bigger stream that has a fairly open canopy in the middle of the water, which is the case on like Spring Creek that I fish a lot, Yellow Creek, even if you're fishing a stream like that appears to be fairly open in the middle, the edges are woody, and woodsy, and you've got trees, low overhanging branches on the banks. So with like a longer fixed length rod, that often gets me into trouble with the overhanging branches. If I'm sneaking up along the bank, casting ahead, to the bank, to the same bank, on the drift, you can't get as much of a drift if you're lifting the rod up because you get into the branches sooner. Then the other problem is when I hook a fish, setting the hook and landing the fish often gets me into trouble with the longer rod. So what I like to do is shorten the rod when I'm fishing towards the bank, which is nice. But the other thing is, if I'm fishing a run that's more midstream, often I'm still on the bank underneath those overhanging branches. So I've found that when I'm using a longer rod, often I get hook the fish, and when I go to land the fish again, I'm getting in trouble in the trees above me. So it's just nice if you're using a rod like this to shorten it. When I'm landing a fish, I'll often do that because I get underneath those branches and I can shorten the rod. So I really like it for that reason. Just because of the nature of the streams. Even though they're not tiny, real tight streams, I'm still dealing with those overhead branches when I'm fishing the banks. So anyway, that's why I really like using the zoom rods, and I use them quite a bit. So that's all I got for you today, folks. Please feel free to comment below your thoughts on how you like to use zoom rods, and if you have any experience with these solid paint markers or the other types of cider markers that you can get. And I'd be curious if anyone else is enjoying using this light 1.5 line that you can get from DRAGONtail. Oh, I should mention that these, I got these off of Amazon. I'll put a link to that. And the Satoki I actually did get to try out from Tenkara USA. And the DRAGONtail, the Mutant, I paid for at a discounted price. The line and the markers I got full price, just for full disclosure. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and click that notification bell, and look forward to doing some more of these coming up soon. Thanks, folks.